What's going on, guys? I am currently on the way. I say on the way, I'm literally just reversing from a drive. I am going to do a podcast today, so I'm really excited. I am going to be doing a podcast with Dr. Rina Wadia. She is based in Harley Street. She invited me on the show like a few months ago now, and just haven't really had the time to commit to it. But today's the day. I'm actually ill again. I seem to be always ill, which is so annoying. But we're going to go there anyway. We're going to get it done. So yeah, it's going to be really insightful, and especially for you to learn a bit more about me, who I am, my experiences and things like that. So I thought I'd take you along and you can see. So I'll catch up with you when I'm there. The traffic.
Last time I brought my mum and dad.
Anyone.
I don't have any random hair sticking up.
What about me?
Perfect. Yeah, every pair is perfect. Alright. Today on Life and Smile, I'm joined by Rajan Seth, an artist whose journey is as compelling as the work he creates. Rajan didn't start out in the creative world. He trained as a chartered accountant, followed a traditional career path, and then made the brave decision to step away from certainty and into creativity. What began as a personal outlet, I guess, has evolved into a full-time art practice with abstract textured pieces that now sit in homes, offices, and spaces around the world, including the one we're sitting in today, which is amazing. What I love about Rajan's work isn't just the aesthetic, it's the intention behind it. His art is about emotion, energy, and connection. It invites interpretation, reflection, and feeling rather than instruction. Today, we'll be talking about identity, courage, creative freedom, and what it really takes to trust yourself enough to build a life around what lights you up. So Rajan, welcome to Life and Smile.
Hi, Rina.
Great to have you back, great to see you again. It's been quite a few years since we commissioned that art piece, so following your journey since then has been absolutely amazing. So let's start from kind of the key question initially is, as we said, like you trained as a chartered accountant, you worked for a few years. What made you realise, like, what was the moment when you were like, okay, I'm done with spreadsheets?
So I trained as a chartered accountant, as you said, and I was doing it for I think like 8 to 9 years,
Okay.
and I couldn't hold a job. So basically, like I had 6 different jobs, and I got made redundant from all 6 of them. But what I was really good at doing was studying. So I kind of just got through the exams somehow, and then I just jumped from job to job to job. I all of a sudden just started painting in my parents' like utility room, which is really no bigger than the size of like my garage, which is like tiny. I remember being at my friend's wedding, which was actually here somewhere, I think it's the Landmark or something like that.
Yes,
and then I said to him during the Indian ceremony, a ceremony where we should have been watching, we went to the pub. And basically when we went to the pub, I was like, I'm going to do my first Instagram post here. And it was this really awful selfie of me with like a yellow painting in the back. And I just remember everyone would just kind of, just like, no, don't do that. Just don't do that. You're going to look silly. You're going to, it's not going to work or whatever. And I always remember that as like the starting point of my art career, because I was just like, I'm going to prove you guys wrong that I can do it, kind of thing. So I guess in answer to your question, there was no real moment. It was just kind of, I was working in a job, and yeah, it kind of just transitioned really nicely. When Instagram used to be really friendly. I think as Asians sometimes you're brought up to try and be a professional of some sort.
Yes.
So I think my mind was fixed on that, but I've always been a bit of a risk taker. So I quite like the idea of just doing something that's not traditional. And all of a sudden I started to get a bit of interest. Someone messaged me on Instagram, and then another person, and then that's how it kind of started. And as soon as I realised that people actually wanted to buy something was the point where that was the transition, or the start of the transition kind of thing. So I was lucky in the sense that I still had money coming in.
Yes.
So I realised it's daunting for other people who want to start something, but obviously they have obligations, things to pay for. So it's difficult. I guess I was lucky in that sense, but they say you make your own luck.
How do you translate someone else's story or science or purpose into something abstract or emotional?
For me, I don't really have anyone to kind of look up to, so to speak. Whereas, in your line of work, you probably know other dentists that you can see opening practices. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
This is a good direction to go. With art, it's very much you decide your journey, and if you sometimes don't have that person to look up to and follow, it can be quite scary. But yeah, I've grown massively from that first initial sale. I've grown massively because now I'm more, confident in myself, my process, my quality of work. I've obviously got, quite a good following of people. I too have started an online course, although it's not online, it's in person. So I want to kind of give back a bit to people because I remember when I was at the start, I would DM people that I thought were good artists to say, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you create this effect? And then most of them wouldn't get back. I want to try and give back to people who may be in, my position where I was when I first started.
Your role is your day-to-day is very creative. So every day, it's literally a full creative day. And I know I've done some projects where writing or various other creative things that are not my day-to-day dental. How do you get over creative blocks? Or do you believe in creative blocks? Or
I do. I don't go in the studio when I'm not in the mood.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't do that. And then what I will do is try to get my eating and my gym back in routine. Because what I've realised is that when I am feeling good physically, I'm in a better space and therefore more productive, and then I can get myself into the studio. If I don't have that and haven't exercised, I feel like there's a big correlation between that and being creative, in my sense anyway. So I have small children, so I try to plan my day around their needs and times and things like that. And also my wife is a creative, so she needs time for her stuff. So it's just about kind of just chipping away at things. And I would love to spend the whole day painting, but we've got a life to live and other obligations, so we have to kind of balance it all. When you say working on the weekends versus weekday, every day is the same for me. It doesn't matter, it all rolls into one. What can I do with that time to make it as productive as possible, whether it's filming content, whether it's thinking about my YouTube, or thinking about filming a reel, getting back to clients, or potentially going and networking, meeting people. You have to kind of keep chipping away, and I always say if you plant different seeds in different places, then eventually some will grow. Some will take more time than others.
What would you say to someone who starting early on in their career, they're actually I want to take not the traditional route, like you said, especially in the Asian culture, it's you have to be a doctor, hopefully things have changed now, but sometimes there's expectation there. We're going down a completely different route against the grain, something which is unpredictable. What would you say to someone who's worried and wants to go down that route, or now looking back, what would you say to your younger self?
I would try to say, before you take the leap, have some sort of savings in your account. Just so I think the last thing you want to do is have that financial pressure. Try and get support from your friends and your family, because the last thing you want is to not be criticised or judged, but you want to know that the people who are closest to you are fully supporting you. And a lot of time when people say, oh yeah, you're living a really cushy life and you get to paint and stuff, but what they haven't seen is the thousands and millions of messages and emails I've sent to designers and celebrities and just everyone, just to get myself out there, to allow me to do it now. It takes time.
Do you feel like, compared to when you were doing your corporate job, your definition of success has changed?
Oh, I like that question. That's good. Yeah, definitely. I think that I am fortunate to have more time to spend with my family. My definition of success is being able to pick my kids up, spend time with them when I want. Freedom. That's my definition of success.
And people say that nowadays, don't they? It's literally all about freedom. Time is so much more valuable than anything else. So it's amazing you being able to bring that to your day-to-day.
I live by the 80-20 kind of thing.
Makes sense.
80% good, 20% we have to work on.
Great.
Very
You've nailed it. It's awesome. I feel lucky to have a piece by you. To be honest.
Sweet.
It's literally. I think as soon as you have kids, you just literally have no time. You have to schedule in 5 months in advance to meet people. So.
We try to do these play dates because then they just makes time go faster. They're genuinely
we sound so bad.
I know. These guys probably think, God, these guys are savage.
And then
So where are you? I only know where the station is. Good morning. I basically just wanted to kind of fill you in on what I was doing. So essentially, Rena started a a lifestyle kind of podcast. She's obviously from a different world. She does dentistry, and I'm doing something completely different in art. And although the industries aren't the same, it's still a great opportunity to meet someone and talk about, you know, how you've got to where you are, whether it's, you know, in my world or in anyone's creative world or anyone's industry. So it was just a great opportunity just to meet her again and do the podcast, and it was really fun. It was just half an hour just talking about how I've got where I've got to, which is always good to look back and think about it. And then after, she gave me a little clean up on my teeth, which was nice as well. So I'm just about to screw the canvas into the frame. I've got these little wood screws, which are quite small and really easy to go through the back of the frame. So I'm going to be drilling the screws into the back of the frame and then obviously into the canvas, so it will stay nicely firm. So I put corners just around the edges, just so that it maintains a nice gap. I don't know if you can see me there. So here is the final piece, guys. I'm really happy with how the frame turned out. It's a really nice bronze color, and yeah, it just complements the colors so nicely. Yeah, like it. And there we have it, guys. It's the finished piece, and I'm really happy with how beautiful it looks. I actually finished off this piece initially, and I didn't think about adding the reds and the oranges, but I just feel like it makes it so much more vibrant. So I'm really happy with how it's turned out. So yeah, I'm gonna end the vlog here, and I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone who's stuck around and watched it to the end, and also to people who've been watching just generally and started to subscribe. I'm still trying to do one video a week, and I've stuck by it so far. I know it's only 2 weeks into the year, but I'm going to keep going. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you've liked the video. If you've enjoyed the content, let me know. Yeah, I'm still sort of new to this YouTube stuff, so I'm still learning, but I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.